Yeah.
Not physically painful.
Nah. Nah, these phones won't break, man. Not that easy.
But I don't know, 3-4 years ago, my nephew came over and he had
Jesse?
blades or whatever.
My thing fell off somewhere. Shoot. My rubber gasket's gone. I just used it yesterday. You're live, by the way.
I know. 30 seconds.
It'll stay on there, won't it?
Nope.
Well, you're live on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want to stay. Weird. I'll improvise. Would not be the first time. Oh, yeah, I've improvised here before. Many times.
Look at that timing, man. Right.
Good morning,
You better
8:35
introduce
on
us.
News Radio 94.9, 890 KDXU. This is time for the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. Jeremy Larkin, if you can find his headset. There he
Hey.
is. What's up,
Good
Jeremy?
morning.
Am I on? Oh, there you
You're
go. I
on.
couldn't hear myself.
Jeremy was sliding in hot, boy.
Wow, we're having a little technological difficulties. How we doing, guys? Jeremy Larkin here, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. Jesse, what do we got? What's our topic today? I think people are gonna like this one. Well, no, they're not. They're not gonna like it, but they're
Not
gonna like it.
But it's going to validate what they've all been saying, that St. George wages rank second lowest in the nation per capita.
And we're gonna talk about what that means.
Right.
Right.
What does that mean?
Jesse, before we jump into it, what do people tell you? What is the talk on the street?
Talk on the street is that the wages aren't high enough. Like, for instance, because we're in real estate, for your average worker to buy a home or to live comfortably, so that the wages are just too low for our cost of living. And so that is the talk on the street.
Well, I mean, and when I say talk on the street, yeah, yes.
For
Let's
the
take this
people-
further.
for the people that live here.
Yes, and.
And work here. And
Yeah, I mean, because it's easy to read the article and get caught up in what the article's saying. But I want to drill down, and you're absolutely right.
Right.
Is when you talk to people who are trying to buy homes.
Right.
What are they saying, right?
But they just can't, it's too high. They can't afford it.
Yeah, I had a conversation this morning. Who was it? Oh, Keller's roommate was talking about trying to buy a house.
Yeah.
And the lender says, Alex says, can you have someone co-sign with you? This gal's worked at this company forever. It's a good job.
Long time. She's pretty stable too.
Really stable.
Mm-hmm.
She can't purchase a minimum home, right?
Yep.
Like, what do you do with that? You know, what do you do with that? So this is a chicken or the egg discussion. We're gonna have a chicken or the egg discussion today.
All right.
This is teeing it up, guys. Jeremy Larkin here, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. We've just gone live on Facebook. We weren't live for a minute. If you don't, if you can't listen to Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you want to go to the radio, you can always listen 94.9 FM, 890 AM. I've got Jesse Paul here in studio with me, co-host, and we're going to hash this out. But let me tell you something fun. I did something fun the other night. So we're having a Sunday dinner, and sitting there with the family. Sunday night, it wasn't Sunday dinner, it was dessert for Father's Day. And we're hanging out around this little pavilion in my sister's backyard, and we start talking about food. Andy, look, let's just face it, we don't have a lot of great restaurants in St. George, truly speaking, right? I mean, we got Chili's, we get Outback, but have you guys been to restaurant towns?
No.
You really haven't.
Well, I'm over here laughing because you know how much I eat out.
This is not a
Never.
food town. This is
So
not a food town.
I'm like, really?
We have about a half dozen eateries that are real custom.
Which is really interesting because we are a tourist town, so that I find that interesting.
Oh,
that
we're
we
failing
don't
miserably.
have choices.
We're failing miserably in terms of what's here. So people say, well, it's always funny. Well, we have Painted Pony. That's always their response. Right, that's one place.
That
Zetava, by
closes
the
at
way.
what, like 8 o'clock?
No,
7
Painted
o'clock?
Pony's a dinner
They are?
house. Yeah.
They open late?
Zetava Gardens out at Canta is incredible. But we get chatting, and Kayla brings up the fact that we have there's this place in Ivans. Have you heard about it? 5-star, award-winning, Zagat's, everybody's award-winning European restaurant in a little tiny strip mall next to the gas station in Ivans.
Really?
Has anybody heard of this place?
I have not.
It's called Aragosta, which means lobster in Italian.
Do you speak Italian?
No,
No.
but I speak fluent Spanish. And I can read Italian well enough, and then I have Google. So here's the deal.
Google Translate.
It's in a strip mall, okay? Let me explain what the strip mall is. There's the gas station. And then there's a separation of the building in Ivans. And there's a strip mall, and in the strip mall is Lightfoot Auto Sales. I didn't see any cars for sale. I think there's a dry cleaner, and there is this restaurant. So we decided 2 nights ago to try it. So we start talking about it as a family. And when I say, guys, fine dining, I mean like, this is beautiful. 183 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor. 183 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor. The chef is Imi Kun. He's from Hungary. We go out there. By the way, it was not cheap. This is beautiful. When I say beautiful, I'm talking about like a piece of art on your plate and big portions. Not this like, you know, Andy, they bring you a little sliver of caviar and a piece of prosciutto and yeah. This was incredible. It was incredible. But here's what you gotta know. You have to go with time. This is not in and out. This isn't like run over to Cafe Rio and stand in the quick service line and walk out with your burrito. We're there for 2 hours. We're there a long time. Tiny, intimate. He comes out, the chef is there. He's there every night, 7 nights a week. He's cooking everything. No, there's somebody supporting him, but he is doing this stuff.
That reminds me.
It was
of
astonishing.
Years and years ago, there was a Italian restaurant on Bluff Street. I want to say McGregor's or, oh my gosh, what was the name of that little place?
I don't remember it.
Right down almost at about 500 North, just that block away.
I don't remember
In the
that.
90s. Man, it was good food. But the guy it was just him and his wife that would come in and he'd cook and
You mean
wait tables.
Fazoli's? I'm
No.
totally kidding.
No,
I just
cannot
want to make sure
remember.
people don't.
I cannot
Remember Fazoli was
but
the
it
same.
I miss their
was-
breadsticks,
It was
yeah.
so good.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Well,
I'll
I
have the
don't
answer
know.
later.
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
What's up, Jason Knoll, hitting us from Arizona this morning. So if you're on Facebook Live, comment if you've been to Aragosta, if you've even heard of it. And let me tell you something.
And if you remember that Italian restaurant that was right around between 3 and 500 North on Bluff Street in the 90s.
Yeah,
please
tell
comment
us
on
who that is. Tell us if you've been to Aragosta. This place is unbelievable. And he comes out, and it's kind of compliments of the chef, right? The guy brought out some this beautiful salmon, something on this flatbread that had been, toasted. And I just gotta say something. I mean, you're not gonna find a meal that's beyond that. It was
Let's go
pretty
check it out.
wild. It was pretty wild. But it's a 2-hour. Nate Schaefer was over there with his wife. It was their anniversary. It's a 2-hour engagement, and you just gotta be there. Maybe you get out in 90 minutes, but it's the real deal. Andy's over there going, "What do you mean we don't have any good eateries? We got Pizza Factory."
Hey, I'm headed over to Hash House in a little
I
while,
know.
and
I
I gotta
know.
tell you,
Hash House is pretty cool.
I like the food.
Hash House is pretty cool. Sheldon, you do, my friend. You do. So this is kind of fun. So Jim Sorenzi, I love James, says, "Hey, this article's 3 years old, still valid." Absolutely valid. Okay, this is an ongoing conversation that we're gonna have this morning. So let's transition. So it's pretty awesome. Check out Aragosta, guys. Chef Imi Kun, the guy's amazing. Just like I've never been somewhere where I felt like I was being so loved on by the restaurateur. It was pretty incredible. So let's transition. All right, we got a situation in St. George, and the situation is really simple. We have a people can't afford housing, and the question is, do we have a wage problem, or a home prices problem, or do we have both?
Both. I would say
Mhm.
both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could, right? We could. I think we do. Andy, do you have adult children?
I do.
How old are they?
27, 25, and 23.
Okay. Do any of them own a home?
My 27-year-old does, yes.
Mm-hmm. So.
Actually, my second son does too, now that I think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And
Well,
one of them is here in town.
So, I mean, do they talk about the fact that stuff seems unaffordable? Is that a conversation?
You know what? No, but I will say this: they have good jobs, make decent money, and I think we instilled in them, Jeremy, early on that you may not get a home right away, and I think that's a reality.
You have to accept that.
You have to, yeah. You can't graduate college, get your first job, and go buy a house. That's not realistic in my mind.
No, correct. So do we have an expectations problem also?
I was gonna bring that
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
maybe even an educational problem.
Yeah.
Like in college and school, how many people come out of there really having a grasp for how important it is to budget and
Yep.
to really plan for buying a house? How many people do we run into that say, okay, I wanna buy a house, what have you done
Yeah.
to plan? What do you mean
Yeah.
plan?
I have
Can
no
I just go
credit,
do
I
it?
have no savings, but I want to buy a
Right.
house.
Correct. Right?
Yeah.
So we have a wage problem, we have a home prices problem, we have an expectations problem. So let's run through this for a minute. So this article comes out March 5th, 2016. It's got a picture of Main Street on it. It was funny because yesterday I was talking about this article sitting at 25 Main with Paul Hatch. Paul's one of my good friends, and Paul, he's with the Allies Corporate Alliance is what a lot of people know it as. So they're doing this incredible company where they're selling software as a service, and they're kind of building this tech. They're involved, kind of connected to this tech ridge and this whole movement in St. George for technology. And we got talking about the fact that St. George had been ranked 3 years ago as the second lowest wages in the nation per capita. So we have to qualify that per capita. It's not the second lowest in the nation. There's clearly places who have lower wages than St. George, Utah, some random little small town somewhere. Okay, but this hasn't changed. And here's the most important. So James, this is the zinger, my friend. That was 3 years ago. He says on here, it's valid. He's a friend of mine, one of my clients, former clients, now an agent. Guess what home prices did since 3 years ago, pal? They went up
Went up.
about 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did wages do?
Went up 3%.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work.
So I love that that's why I got excited when he's like, this is 3 years old, FYI. I'm like, oh, you set me
Which
up.
is even
dude.
worse.
You set me up. This is the problem. Wages haven't gone anywhere. As a matter of fact, if they got up 3%, they've gone up at the cost of inflation, maybe the rate of inflation. But for crying out loud, home values are up another 25% since 3 years ago. And people don't know what to do. There's something that drives home values here, Jesse, that is unique to St. George because we're a retirement community, which is what's pushing prices up?
You got your second homeowners, retirement communities, vacation rentals. People wanting to come
Yes,
down
sir.
and buy a vacation rental and use it as a second home. That's a big one, I think.
Yeah, because do you think, dude, if all of our buyers were just regular folk here in town, that values be going this crazy?
No.
No way.
Now,
Right.
over the last 10 years, southern Utah has really made a big push to be worldwide known with Zion, and that's gotten so big that we're getting people from all over the world coming in here. And you know what, another piece is the senior games. Brings people from all over the world. Ironman brings people from all over the world.
Sure does.
They come here, and we have got such a unique community and energy that people just don't want to leave, or they want to come back over and over and over.
They do, and I went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho last summer, and
That's another place.
I went there and said, man, I love this.
Right.
I'm hanging out there at my vacation rental thinking I could live there. That was that experience, but people have that experience when they come here. Now we also have a restaurants problem, all right? We established this earlier. Okay, we talked about this. But coming back to the more important issues at hand, which are wages, home prices, and expectations.
Yes, and there's a lot of external factors driving our market, but
Yep.
we still have local people that have to live here.
Yep, yeah, we do. We mean all of us? You mean just regular people? Yeah, we're regular people. By the way, thanks Jeff for commenting. He said that's the same chef that owned and operated the Cosmopolitan in Silver Reef a few years back. I did not know that. So, we have this issue where per capita we got this really low wage. And I think the greatest challenge in this is that you can't just change the wages like that.
Right.
Oh, like this. Hey, Andy, your zipper's not actually down. Hey, Andy, your zipper's down. Well, what does Andy do? He looks down and he goes, oh, my zipper's down. And what does he do? He zips it up. You do, right? Okay. I don't want you in like one of these St. George News articles. Okay, like that guy that was doing yoga.
Naked yoga guy. Yeah.
The naked yogi. Oh, okay. Can we do that naked yogi? Like, that's our guy.
Naked yogi.
Oh man, I love just falling off on this show into funny little side things. So coming back, you make an adjustment.
Sure. Immediately.
Yeah, almost as embarrassing as, hey Andy, you left the cap off of your gas tank. You don't ever want to be that guy. Why do we think that's so funny? We're like, can you believe that idiot? He left his gas thing open in his car. Like, we think people are such fools, but you make an adjustment. The challenge with wages, right, Jesse, Paul, is we can't just, okay, everybody's just gonna raise wages, that'll fix it, right? Because wages, what people pay, what a job, what a job pays, often has nothing to do with the people, right? It has everything to do with what the company can do, right?
Well, it also has, it actually starts way higher than that. Because on average, Utah in general is a low-wage state.
Yeah.
So it starts at the state level or legislation level and trickles down.
Absolutely.
So you can't just change, I guess you could just change it here, but it would be hard.
Well, okay, so this is where people get screwed up, okay? They go on Facebook, and they see these articles, and they throw a fit. This is crazy. We've got to fix this. Okay. Let me ask you all a question, okay? Do you, listeners out there, do you think that all the employers in St. George are just taking home more profits because they pay low? Because let me just clear up that little hallucination you're having, right? That's not the case, because it's a trickle down, like you said, right? It's a trickle down. It isn't like, well, we just want to be mean here. We don't want our people to have money. That's not the case. People aren't getting extra rich in St. George, Utah. So I was talking to a friend of mine who works at a local bike shop. Great guy. We're actually helping him manage a contract.
Right.
He's going to buy a house.
Right.
He's a good guy. And the only home they can afford is $210,000. By the way, how many $210,000 houses are there in Washington County?
Probably 6 or 7?
Thank you. I was going to say 7 as a joke, and he said 6 or 7.
There's not many.
So it's right downtown St. George. It's darling, but it's about 1,100 feet. It's what they can afford.
Yeah.
And as we're going through this process, first of all, we're in this dialogue, and he said, "Gosh, rent's expensive," or his wife said, "Rent's expensive. Houses are expensive. Everything's expensive." And I got talking to him about his job, and I said, the interesting thing about your job is that your job, and I don't know much about his job, but I made this comment in passing. Your job, what you get paid there has nothing to do with you. In a way, the role pays X.
Right.
Right, Andy?
Right.
Like, and you're a great guy. You got great talent. But I'm going to assume, we're going to put him on the spot, that you didn't walk into Cherry Creek Radio and go, well, I'm Andy Griffin. I need $300,000 a year.
Yeah, they would have laughed.
Because what would they have? In this vein, what would they have said?
They would have laughed and they would have said, "Not here," and that's not what we can afford.
Bingo. The role pays blank,
Yeah.
right? That's how it is. And so, first of all, we have to let go of the fact that maybe we're being, looked down upon or pooped on or whatever we want to say, because we have a high-paying job. So we have this situation. Jason Knoll. I love that you're listening, man, or watching. What's the industry in St. George? Question mark. Jason used to have an incredible company here, Wood Effects. Dude, what are you doing now? I don't even know what you're doing down there. They did this beautiful molding and doors. I have the most beautiful wood door that they built for me. Construction and real estate, question mark? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, so look at Washington County. We have, and we're a real estate program. And if you just picked up the program, I'm Jeremy Larkin, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. I operate a really fantastic real estate family. We're more than a team. And we help people here with Keller Williams Realty, the Larkin Group, buy and sell and invest in St. George real estate. It's awesome. So the question he asks is, what's the industry? The industry, Jason, might be tourism.
Tourism, I think so.
It really may be tourism. Construction and real estate are required, but it may be,
But I don't think construction can be an
Because
industry
it's-
because
it is an industry, but maybe it's not the industry
But it's
because
not
it's,
the industry for an area, it's created because people
Correct.
come, right?
yeah, it's cause and effect, it's
Right.
the effect,
That-
right?
right.
Yeah, construction and real, this is valid, thank you.
So a
man.
manufacturing industry, now that comes, it's not a cause and effect.
Yeah, so,
They
yeah.
choose to be there.
Yeah, if you build it, they would come, not really. That was a
Tourism.
lovely movie.
Tourism, in fact, though, that is
Yeah,
real.
tourism is huge here. So construction and real estate's really big. And, Joe, good morning, my friend, says we are cash heavy and wage poor. Actually, that's really true. It's really true. There are a lot of people with cash. 4 minutes here, we got to hit this
There
today. And he went on to say, we also have the highest number of people under 25 and
And
over
over.
65. You know what we call those, don't you, Joe? Newlyweds, and do you know the rest, Andy?
Nearly almost to the edge of life.
Yep, nearly deads. Newlyweds.
I didn't want to use that word.
Do you love it? We have newlyweds and nearly deads.
Larkin doesn't have a filter.
Nah, it's what's
No
classic. It's such a great term, right? Newlyweds and nearly deads. And so, okay, we've got an article that we just posted up. It's actually right on our Facebook feed. So if you look at, it's the Larkin Group or St. George Experts is our Facebook feed. It works both ways. Young first-timers are saving for their dream homes, right? And this really is happening right now. Young buyers, and this is millennials and Gen Z, have waited longer than previous generations to enter the housing market for the first time. However, this hasn't stopped them from dreaming about the home they will eventually buy, right? According to a survey from Open Listings, 70% of single renters are more likely to spend their Sunday nights swiping through house listings than dating profiles.
Wow.
Classic, right? 70%. So at the time, all that time window shopping has led 45% of millennials to expect the first home they will buy to be their dream home. That's the weird part.
And
That's
maybe
the
that's
weird
why
part.
we have so many people saying they're just too expensive. Because they're not willing to step into like you
Right.
did or your mom and dad did,
Townhome or a
into
trailer or
into
something.
a starter home,
Yeah.
build some equity,
Uh-huh.
build some sweat equity, and then move up.
Well, because here's a story that that we were all told, and it's not, we weren't told this story, it's true. Most of us, certainly your parents, my parents, our first place was this little shack. That's a story, by the way, that's going to stop being told. That story is going to cease to exist in this modern era. Because here's what's going to be like, things were so unaffordable in St. George, we had to live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhome with an HOA that managed our yard care and a swimming pool. Can you believe that we survived? Right, are you hearing this, guys? I mean, all they had was that quartz is the new thing now, guys. We had to deal with granite countertops. How dated is that? It's comical. It's actually funny. When you allow yourself to think about this, the big complaint is we had to live in the HOA fees were $190 a month, Jesse, and all we had was a pool and cable and perfectly blowing air conditioning and heat. So the story that was told by a previous generation is a story that's going to go away. This is my prediction. This story will not exist anymore. There will very, very rare. Sure, there's going to be people who started in humble circumstances, but humble is relative now.
Mm-hmm.
So young first-timers are saving money to purchase homes. I don't think, I'm going to go out on a limb as we wrap up. I don't know that St. George is really overvalued. St. George is valued based on what the economy is doing, but we have to realize that because a lot of these buyers are coming in from out of state or out of town and they're second home buyers, it is creating a problem for local buyers. We can't fix it. Just so you know, realtors and mortgage people can't fix it. This is driven by consumers. Stay tuned. This is like an ongoing conversation. We're wrapping up 1 minute. Folks, if you've got a question about buying, selling, and if you're just right now, because we're talking about the wages and home prices, you really might want to check out your home's value. I want to encourage you to hop over to DixieHomeValue.com. DixieHomeValue.com. That's one you can remember in your sleep. Plug in your home address and it'll spit out an automated valuation, and we can follow up and see if it was actually realistic. But again, DixieHomeValue.com. Which comes first, Jesse, the chicken or the egg? It is an endless cycle, isn't it? And by the way, folks, if you want to see some cool properties, including an unbelievable vacation rental downtown Hurricane, go stgeorge.com. Go stgeorge.com. We've got it
Be on
coming
the
soon.
market today.
Woo! All right, guys, over and out.